At the beginning of this adventurous story, we are shown a magical forest where many different types of animals lived. This place was completely different from the rest of the world. Inside this magical forest, we see a fairy named Maleficent, who had large wings and 2 horns. She had spent her entire life in this magical forest, meaning Maleficent had no idea about the world outside this forest. She had never seen a human before. Inside the forest, there were all sorts of magical creatures that humans had never even discovered. Maleficent considered this magical forest to be her home. Now, accidentally, a boy named Stefan entered this forest. Maleficent was a little surprised when she saw him. Stefan explained that he had entered the forest after spotting a small diamond. Maleficent asked Stefan for the diamond and warned him that this forest could be dangerous for humans. So, Maleficent decided to take Stefan back to his kingdom to ensure his safe return. Stefan asked if they could meet again in the future, and Maleficent agreed. But when Maleficent shook hands with Stefan, she felt a sharp jolt because Stefan was wearing an iron ring on his finger. Maleficent's body became very weak around iron, so she asked Stefan to keep such things away from her. Soon, they became good friends. Stefan regularly visited the magical forest and spent time playing various games with Maleficent. They enjoyed each other's company very much. As time passed, Maleficent and Stefan fell in love. However, Maleficent knew nothing about humans, but she blindly trusted Stefan. Several years passed, and Stefan had promised Maleficent that he would visit her. But after 5 long years, Stefan still hadn't come. This made Maleficent very upset, yet she kept waiting for him in the magical forest. One day, the king of a nearby kingdom, along with his entire army, marched into the magical forest. The king intended to take control of the entire forest. However, Maleficent did not want her forest to fall into the hands of the king, so she immediately spread her large wings and stood in front of the king's army. She clearly told them that no one could take control of her forest. But the king, without seeking permission, commanded his soldiers to attack. Maleficent, being a powerful fairy, possessed divine powers. She used her magic to summon many soldiers within the forest, who appeared monstrous and terrifying. These creatures attacked the king's soldiers. The soldiers were so scared that they fled, unable to fight these fearsome beings. Maleficent scared them off, sending them running. The king, badly wounded, returned to his kingdom and told everyone about the unique things he had encountered in the magical forest. He promised that anyone who could defeat Maleficent would be rewarded by marrying his daughter and inheriting the entire kingdom. While the people of the kingdom were afraid to enter the forest, a man stepped forward, none other than Stefan. He decided that he would kill Maleficent and become the new king of the kingdom. So, after all these years, Stefan entered the magical forest. When Maleficent saw him, she became very angry and asked where he had been all these years. Stefan made up an excuse, saying he had important work to do and that's why he hadn't come earlier. Maleficent, being very trusting, fell for his excuse. The two of them spent some good moments together, but Stefan's intentions were far from pure. He secretly gave Maleficent a sleeping potion, causing her to fall unconscious. With a knife in his hand, Stefan approached her, intending to kill her, but for some reason, he found himself unable to do it. Therefore, Stefan, while Maleficent was unconscious, cut off both of her large wings. When Maleficent regained consciousness the next morning, she felt intense pain in her back. It was then that she realized her wings had been cut off, and it became clear that it was Stefan who had done this. Maleficent began crying uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Stefan took the wings to the king and handed them over, leading the king to believe that Stefan had killed Maleficent. As a result, Stefan was married to the king's daughter, fulfilling the king's promise. Stefan became the new king of the kingdom. To gain the throne, Stefan had become ruthless. Maleficent, now weak from losing her wings, wandered in the magical forest, trying to live on. One day, she saw a man catching a crow. Using her magical powers, Maleficent transformed the crow into a human, scaring off the hunter. The crow turned human thanked Maleficent for saving his life and vowed to serve her forever. He decided to work for Maleficent and, on her request, kept an eye on Stefan in the kingdom. Through the crow, Maleficent learned that Stefan had done everything just to gain the throne. This revelation shattered her trust in humans completely. After Stefan married the princess, they had a beautiful daughter, and the people of the kingdom came to bless the newborn. However, in a shocking turn of events, Maleficent appeared among the crowd. She approached the princess and, using her magic, placed a curse on her, saying that she would grow up to be very beautiful, but on her 16th birthday, she would prick her finger on a spinning wheel and fall into an eternal sleep. Stefan begged Maleficent, pleading that she not give the curse to his daughter. Maleficent, though very angry with Stefan, still had a soft spot in her heart. Maleficent, however, added one more detail to the curse, that when Aurora would receive true love's kiss on her 16th birthday, she would wake up from the eternal sleep. After giving the curse, Maleficent left. Stefan, desperate to save his daughter, ordered his 3 small fairies to take care of Aurora and bring her back to him only after her 16th birthday. Furious with Maleficent, Stefan attacked the magical forest with his soldiers, but they couldn't even enter the forest due to Maleficent's powers. The 3 fairies took care of Aurora, who was living in the forest, keeping her safe. They treated her like their own daughter. Over time, Aurora turned 15, which meant only 1 year remained until the curse would be fulfilled. On her 16th birthday, she would be pricked by the spinning wheel. One day, while wandering in the forest, Aurora came across a blocked path, and her curiosity grew. She wondered what lay beyond the magical forest and wanted to know more. She heard some voices coming from that direction and called out, "Whoever you are, come out." To her surprise, it was Maleficent standing there, watching Aurora. Aurora immediately recognized her and said, "You're the one who has been looking after me since childhood. Why have you never shown yourself to me? I think you're my godmother, the one who will always protect me." Hearing this, Maleficent was deeply touched and happy. She came forward and, for the first time, openly stayed with Aurora in the magical forest. As they spent time together, Maleficent realized how kind and wonderful Aurora was, and she felt that she wanted to stay with her forever. Maleficent tried to find a way to undo the curse she had placed on Aurora, but since the curse had been cast many years ago, it could not be reversed. As the time for the curse to be fulfilled drew near, Maleficent became increasingly frustrated. Aurora would soon fall into an eternal sleep, and with so little time left, there was no way for her to meet her true love. The next day, as Aurora and Maleficent were talking, Aurora asked her, "You're a fairy, so where are your big wings?" Maleficent sadly explained, "I had large wings, but a bad man deceived me and took them from me." Aurora could sense Maleficent's sadness, so she comforted her and said, "When my 16th birthday comes, I will tell the fairies to bring me to you, and I'll stay with you forever. Together, we will enjoy our lives in the magical forest." But deep down, Maleficent knew that wouldn't happen, and she desperately hoped that Aurora would meet her true love before the curse took effect. One day, while Aurora was standing by a river in the forest, a handsome prince appeared. When Aurora and the prince saw each other, they immediately liked one another. They started talking, and Aurora asked him where he lived and if they would ever meet again. Aurora later returned home to the 3 fairies and told them that after her 16th birthday, she planned to go live with Maleficent. The fairies were suspicious, believing Aurora might have already discovered the truth, so they began to confess everything. Aurora learned that her real parents were still alive, and that the one she had thought was her godmother, Maleficent, was actually the one who had cursed her. Devastated, Aurora went to confront Maleficent. Maleficent, heartbroken, admitted the truth. "I placed the curse on you because of your father, but now, I have come to love you deeply, and I care for you like my own daughter." Despite this, Aurora's trust in Maleficent was shattered. She immediately left the magical forest and made her way to her father's kingdom. Aurora was overjoyed to finally reunite with her father, Stefan, after so many years. Stefan couldn't understand why Aurora was there, as he had instructed the 3 fairies to bring her to him only after her 16th birthday. And now, with only a few days left before Aurora's 16th birthday, the curse that Maleficent had cast was about to take effect. Stefan, unaware of the full extent of Maleficent's powerful curse, ordered his soldiers to lock Aurora in a room from which she couldn't escape. As Aurora's 16th birthday arrived, Maleficent's curse began to unfold. Aurora, now uncontrollable, broke out of the chamber and stumbled into a large storeroom. There, she touched a sharp spindle, completing Maleficent's curse. Aurora immediately fell into a deep sleep, doomed to remain unconscious for the rest of her life. When Stefan saw his daughter in this condition, he was devastated. He didn't know what to do to save her. Meanwhile, Maleficent, convinced that Aurora and the prince shared true love, believed that their love could break the curse. She took the prince under her control and led him toward the kingdom. The 3 fairies, seeing Stefan's distress, suggested that he try kissing Aurora on the cheek, hoping that she might truly love him above all else. But Stefan, filled with anger and guilt, refused. He thought, "How could anyone love me? I deceived Maleficent and everyone else." In his despair, Stefan locked himself in a room, overwhelmed by regret. Meanwhile, Maleficent arrived at Aurora's chamber with the prince. Despite the prince's kiss, Aurora did not awaken. Maleficent realized that the prince was not Aurora's true love. She knew now that no one could awaken Aurora from her deep slumber. Heartbroken, Maleficent stood beside Aurora and wept, mourning the loss of the girl she had come to love as her own. As Aurora lay in her deep sleep, Maleficent, heartbroken and defeated, kissed her on the forehead, believing that perhaps Aurora would never wake up. Just as Maleficent was about to leave, a voice called out from behind. To her astonishment, it was Aurora. She had woken up. Aurora's true love was not the prince, as everyone had assumed, but Maleficent herself. Aurora had come to love Maleficent as a mother and friend, and it was Maleficent's kiss that broke the curse. Aurora, now awake, declared that no matter what, she would stay with Maleficent. The two of them stepped out of the room together, but as they made their way, Stefan's soldiers caught up with them and threw a trap over Maleficent. The iron net caused her great pain, but she used her powers to turn her crow into a dragon. The dragon breathed fire, creating havoc around them. In the chaos, Maleficent managed to break free from the trap. But then, Stefan appeared, clad in full iron armor, knowing that fairies like Maleficent feared iron. He attempted to kill her, but Aurora, inside another room, saw Maleficent's lost wings displayed in a chamber. The wings seemed to come alive as if sensing their rightful owner. Aurora, determined to help, broke open the chamber and freed the wings. As they flew toward Maleficent, they attached themselves to her, restoring her powers. Now fully restored, Maleficent fought back, defeating Stefan's soldiers. She captured Stefan and began to fly away with him, but Stefan used a rope to latch onto her. As he climbed, he grabbed her wings, trying to control her. But Maleficent was too powerful this time. She spread her wings wide, sending Stefan plummeting to his death from the great height. As Stefan's body lay below, Maleficent looked down at it, reflecting on the revenge he had brought upon himself. "What you did to me, you received in return," she thought. With Stefan's death, Maleficent removed the boundaries around her magical forest, setting it free once again. Now, with her full strength restored, and Aurora at her side, Maleficent had finally triumphed over the man who had wronged her. The curse was broken, the forest was hers again, and Aurora had a mother figure she could love and trust. The bond between them was stronger than any curse or betrayal. And now, after everything was set right, the magical forest flourished again. Maleficent, with great respect, made Aurora the new princess of the entire land. After this, every creature in the magical forest became very happy, and everything became much better than before. The forest was peaceful again, and our story ends here.